Eastern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. Our severe weather alert day continues into this evening as a strong cold front could possibly cause some wind damage. Meteorologist Evan Hatter has the latest on what we can expect and the timing. Evan?
That's right, Steve. Already seeing the main front beginning to push into central Kentucky at this hour. It's not so much necessarily at this point the severe weather that's the huge threat, at least severe thunderstorms. It's damaging winds that will be the main cause for concern through tonight. Wind advisory or a high wind warning in effect for everybody. Areas in the gold with the high wind warning have the greatest possibility of seeing gusts 50 to 60 miles per hour, especially downwind of some of the higher peaks in far southeast Kentucky throughout this evening. At the moment, we're starting to see those winds accelerate just a little bit ahead of that front. You see, these are sustained winds, 23 miles per hour in Monticello and Wise, 15 miles per hour in London, 17 in Hazard, 13 in Middlesboro. Factor in the gusts, we're gusting better than 30 miles per hour along the Kentucky-Tennessee border, and we're only going to see those gusty winds continue, now gusting to 18 miles per hour here in Hazard as well. Temperatures remain on the warm side into the middle and upper 60s the further south you go, though upper 50s where we've been seeing a lot of rain so far today. That's been the calling card with this system thus far, but look out to the west. That small little squall line is trying to take shape as we head out to portions of western Kentucky, and now looks like a severe thunderstorm warning out into portions of central Kentucky as well, just to the north and east of the Bowling Green area. I'll have the latest on what this means for our forecast tonight, where the heaviest of the weather is right now, coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
Evan, thank you. This massive storm system is hitting a huge section of the country today, from Texas to Maine. CBS's Marissa Perlman reports from Crown Point, Indiana.
A lot of plows out there working the roads right now.
The snow started falling early Thursday in Kansas City, part of a system first blanketing the Midwest. This is what it looked like in central Oklahoma, where a winter storm warning was posted. Tens of millions of Americans are in its path. Some areas could get a foot of snow. This system rolled over Colorado Wednesday, leading to slippery roads in the suburbs of Denver. This car slid off of a highway. It started snowing here in Crown Point, Indiana, near Illinois Thursday afternoon. Blizzard-like conditions are expected throughout the day. The storm brought sleet and flooding to the St. Louis area. One car got stuck on this flooded road in Oakville, Missouri.
Do not try to drive through standing water. Some people were yelling at that car to stop, and she, it wasn't a truck, and she got halfway through and just stuck, and it flooded her car.
Another car flooded in East St. Louis.
I had to sit on the middle console and put my feet on the seat because my car is totally flooded.
This system could also bring severe storms to parts of the South.
This is a potent storm. It's going to bring everything for us, from tornadoes to extreme winds to heavy snow.
The storm is expected to move off the East Coast Friday. Marissa Perlman, CBS News, Crown Point, Indiana.
Severe storms, including tornadoes, are possible this evening from Arkansas to Mississippi. Kentucky State Police say a man has barricaded himself in a home in Letcher County and has fired at police. WYMT's Zach Hawk is live with an update from as near the scene as we can get safely. Zach?
So I'm on Lick Fork Road in Letcher County, where police are saying that a man has barricaded himself inside of his house. We've unconfirmed reports that they were serving a search warrant this morning around 11 a.m. and that he fired on those police officers, at which time backup came in. Kentucky State Police are in control of the scene, and we're working to confirm if the suspect is in custody, but have not received those specific details just yet.
At this time, several shots have been fired from inside the residence. That's all the information that we really have at this time.
This is Zach Hawk live in Letcher County, where we are at the scene of a Kentucky State Police investigation where they say a man has barricaded himself inside of his house. They were supposedly serving a search warrant this morning around 11 a.m. when the man opened fire. Now, we're working with state police to confirm the name of the suspect, but sitting here on scene, we did see a man in the back of a police cruiser drive away just about 10 minutes ago. I'm working with state police to try to confirm all of these details and will, of course, be keeping up on it all throughout the evening. I'll share the latest as I hear from it. For now, back to you.
All right, Zach, thank you. Obviously, this situation changing by the moment, and we'll go back to Zach as he compiles more information. But again, the good news out of all this is, as far as we know, nobody has been injured, even though shots were fired apparently earlier today. The Pulaski County coroner says a teenager died in an early morning fire. That fire happened at a home on Dry Branch Road around 4 o'clock this morning. We're told a 16-year-old died in the fire. The coroner has not released their name yet. Pulaski County Fire and State Police are investigating. Chief Tim Farrell said that crews battled the house and forest fire for hours. He said 5 departments helped extinguish the flames. He also said they needed extra manpower and water. Contract negotiations continue between Kentucky American Water and its employees. Workers planned to go on strike last week before both sides reached a tentative agreement. Later, union members rejected that deal but agreed to keep negotiating. The Herald Leader reports workers say the company's profits have soared during the past 5 years, but wages have not. KAW denies claims of wrongdoing throughout the negotiation process. A trio of Democratic lawmakers unveiled a new bill this morning to legalize marijuana. It's part of a comprehensive plan for dealing with cannabis. The legislation is known as Let's Grow. Let's is an acronym with 2 T's. It stands for legalizing sales, expunging low-level possession crimes, treating those who can benefit from medical uses, and taxing sales for adult use. It would get rid of some crimes supporters say should have never been charged. Due to new rules about chemicals in hemp plants, some Tennessee hemp farmers worry they will have to destroy some of their crops. It really boils down to how much THCA is in these plants. While previously not regulated to this degree, new rules starting in January mean hemp farm owners will need to get their plants tested. If they test more than a certain THCA limit, the farmer will have to burn that crop. Minutes matter when someone is suffering from sudden cardiac arrest. That's why a Florida congressman is hoping to increase access to defibrillators in schools. This American Heart Month, our Washington Bureau reporter Kristen Casper shows us how AEDs can and do save young lives.
Just like the final buzzer or the roar of a crowd, an athlete's heartbeat, accelerated yet steady, is a competition constant. But far too often,
she suffered sudden cardiac arrest.
Sean Seema's 16-year-old daughter, Lexi, collapsed in 2016 while training on a treadmill. He says she's alive today because she happened to be near an AED.
That night, there was a miracle. My daughter survived the most unsurvivable thing for anybody.
According to data compiled by the heart screening organization who we play for, sudden cardiac arrest strikes more than 7,000 young people a year. An estimated 90% of victims die because of a delay in emergency response. Seema wants every school and training field to have an AED. But the devices are costly. They have to be maintained and students trained.
I think it might take federal legislation to make sure it happens.
Florida Congressman Al Lawson reintroduced a bill that would create a federal program to put more devices in schools. The measure was drafted in honor of Rafe Macarone, a young Florida athlete who died in 2007 on the goal line of a high school soccer field.
There was an AED that was on the school grounds, but it was locked. Having someone properly trained to utilize the AED could have saved my son's life.
In the last 15 years, Macarone's legacy nonprofit has inspired teams and communities to push for heart screenings and pass local CPR training laws. Standing behind Lawson's bill, these parents say they still have more to do.
We've got to keep pushing forward.
Reporting in Washington, I'm Kristen Casper.
Lawson first introduced the Access to AEDs Act in 2019, but it did not receive a floor vote. The bill has been introduced again this year. Ukraine's military accuses Russian-backed forces of shelling a village and hitting a kindergarten. This video released by Ukrainian police shows teachers and staff leading children out of the building. It also shows rubble on the floor of the classroom police say was hit by a shell. They say none of the children were hurt, but 2 teachers have concussions. Ukraine blames Russia for the attack, and Russian officials say while they think the shelling is concerning, they have no plans to discuss the matter with the Ukrainian government. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, would you know if you were the victim of a data breach? The one tip experts say is your best protection.
And still watching the possibility for strong thunderstorms later on tonight. I'll have the latest timing and impacts on the way next.